Hi, my name is Nathaniel Gage, and this is my discussion board post for the research presentation. The American Revolution began in 1775 and ended in 1783, although most consider Yorktown in 1781 to be its final battle. George Washington commanded the Continental Army, which attempted to combat the British Regular Army, more commonly known as the British Regulars. The Continental Army was poorly trained and woefully unequipped, and the Americans only had a weak navy. Congress failed to make adequate use of the small boats and privateers which were available. According to David Head, a navy of row galleys, whaleboats, and gunboats could have performed much better. A more adequate navy is one of the many things the French would supply. The French chose to assist the Americans for a number of reasons. Perhaps most important was fear. According to Edward S. Corwin, if England could not speedily crush American revolt, she must make amends with it. Those whom she failed to retain as subjects, she would make allies in a joint assault upon the riches of Peru and Mexico and the French Sugar Islands. In other words, fear that the Americans would be used against them was at least part of what motivated France to seek an alliance with the newly formed United States. There were other factors which aided the Americans prior to French intervention. The British attempted to raise a loyalist battalion, many loyalist battalions, but were mostly unsuccessful. Its proclamation from General Howe suggests, all intrepid, able-bodied heroes who are willing to serve His Majesty the King George III, have now not only an opportunity of manifesting their spirit by assisting in reducing their too long deluded countrymen. This quotation shows how the British misunderstood the American Revolution, a fact which helped the Patriots. Although Washington attempted to form a traditional professional army, the American spirit did not lend itself as well to that form of military, and his subordination to Congress made it more difficult for him to make tactical decisions until later in the war, when he began to take responsibility for the success or failure of the Continental Army. Also, the Continental Army didn't use guerrilla tactics very much. They attempted to defend forts and other heavily defended areas, and when they couldn't, they would retreat to a new one. The guerrilla tactics were mostly used by state militias and partisan groups who were in almost every state and harassed the British, attacked their patrols, their foraging parties, did whatever they could to make the lives of the British soldiers miserable. But it wasn't really until a little later into the war, after the arrival of von Steuben, that the Continental Army started to become a professional army, and with the assistance of the French, both in money and direct military assistance, they were able to more adequately combat the British. Thank you.